Radhe Radhe. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. May this be an offering to Sri Radha Krishna. Now, as we await our first guests to arrive, allow me to set the intention for this space on this ASMR Sunday to being a relaxful or a relaxing, welcoming, comfortable environment open to everyone to just feel refreshed and being themselves as we come together to uplift each other, relate in one another's experiences, and share positive sentiments. And thank you, Kalki Ji, for blessing us so early on with a heart me and a team bracelet. Jai Sitaram and Om Namah Shivaya. Hello Tash, hola. Hello Rachel. Hello Aquarius lady. You are very early, Tash. The first here, actually. Jai Satchidananda, Sky Guardian. Dhanyavad, Kalki Ji. And thank you for your extra 4 roses. Radhe Radhe. And hello Vladimir. And thank you for your tiny. You all are very early, and I hope you are doing as well as you can. Whatever may be going on for you, both circumstantially or even emotionally, mentally, physically, trust that this too shall pass. And thank you, Erica Draven, for your heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. This being ASMR Sunday, I thought that we do a live that is soft-spoken. Other than that, it's going to be a particularly normal Sangha, but with extra emphasis on validation and coming to relaxation. So we won't be provoking you with too many philosophical ideas, for example. Thank you, Kalki Ji, for another rose a minute ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. Radhe Radhe Anna. Now I have a question of the day for you all, since you know I like to start my lives with a question. Today I'm wondering, how are you coming to peace? I recognize that it is a bit of an open-ended question, and that is by no mistake. If you're wondering what in particular I mean by this, nothing in particular. Interpret this in any way which makes sense to you. How are you coming to peace? Maybe it's something that you're working on, or something that is already unfolding naturally. Rana Abu Ahmed, you share you're not? That's okay. That's a valid answer too. You are welcome to admit where you're at. And Jackson Reddy, you share by letting go. Release. So important. That's quite alright. Kalki Ji. Yes, 5 in total. Thank you. And thank you, John F., for your rose. Radhe Radhe. And hello, Dale York. You share that you're stressed. That's quite alright. I hope you can find some space here to de-stress. And I'm doing well. Thank you, Chloe. Leanne, You share that you are giving yourself some space. That's a great thing to do when coming to peace. Gaia, you share speaking out more often. You are used to being walked on. It is very relieving, isn't it, to stand up for yourself? Sometimes it can be a very peaceful thing to set those boundaries where they need to be. Absolutely. Crazy cat lady, you share your granddaughter. I love that. I am sure that you are a very special grandmother for her. And Alex, you see isolation. That can be a great place to find peace. Kate Brooks, you share through exploring new interests and hobbies out of your comfort zone. I love that. I love how you can find peace beyond familiarity in discovery. Dash, you share by radical acceptance of the now. I love that. Moon, you share you've recently found drawing to be peaceful. There aren't any restrictions or rules. It's very relaxing. That is true. You can draw whatever your mind can come up with. And whatever you can command your hand to form into being. And thank you, Erica Draven, for another pair of team bracelets. Jai Sitaram. Rachel, you share by enjoying nature in your backyard. So beautiful. Chloe, you share remembering to breathe. It's a funny thing, isn't it? Now, our body will do it for us, but we can do it even better consciously. And Esther, you share, still looking for it. Try to let go of things. Well, that is a great method of coming to it. By neti, not this, not that, and what you may be left with. That is peace. And oh boy, oh, you shared that. Yo Yam, you're feeling a lot of anxiety. Any tips? Definitely. Breathing, just as we mentioned, can be a great thing. My counselor recommends incorporating tactile elements into your meditation. Like if you're trying to ground yourself by breathing, you can do the 5-finger technique where you trace the outline of your fingers up on the inhale, down on the exhale. Or maybe if you have something that smells nice around you, you can bring it close. Breathe in some fresh smells. Really connect to the present moment through all 5 of your senses. Just be a witness. Recognize that these sensations shall pass. And we can talk more about anxiety if you want. For now, there are some other wonderful answers to our question of the day. Anna, you share by not having expectations. So true. And Veronique, you share healing a friend who has luck now with his friend. That sounds lovely. I am happy to hear that you are a part of their healing journey, and someone that means a lot to you now has some luck in their life. That is good. Gaia, you share, you are low energy. You've been cursed by those around you. Well, in any capacity I have to lift those curses off you, I don't know, but do allow me to affirm you that regardless of what energy others may give you, they can never truly touch the core of your being that you are. That can never be burdened and is only an eternal blessing. Hello, Hari. Radhe, Radhe. Now, there's been a lot of comments. Let me scroll down to see some new ones. You like the 5-finger technique, Chloe. I'm happy to hear that. And you are always welcome to be here, Cosmic Comedy Reader. And John, if you echo that sentiment of not having expectations. And Rahina, you share, by noticing that you're already there, but you haven't realized it. It's a funny thing, isn't it? In the Ashtavakra Gita, Ashtavakra says, you are the solitary witness of this whole universe. Your only bondage is not seeing this. And thank you, Jarrett, a few minutes ago for sending a heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. And hello, Asma. Sky Guardian, you feel like the ASMR sign? Oh, it's covering the question of the day. My apologies. And thank you, Rob, for your heart me. And Esther, thank you for your rose. Jai Sitaram. Pak Gustog, you share. Your feet hurt. You want to go jogging. You're full of energy. Take some, please. One time when I had too much energy in my system, I placed my hands firmly on the ground and I said, "Oh, Mother Earth, you have given me more energy today than necessary. Please have it back. You can make more use out of it than I can today." And I tried to imagine sending energy back to Mother Earth, and she took it. And Asma, thank you for your heart me. Now, thank you everyone for exploring this question of the day today. We got so many good answers on how we are coming to peace. To me, it feels like one theme present in many of your answers is that idea of release, letting go, idea of dropping, especially expectations, just coming into what is right now, shedding old skin. Yeah, I like the way you put that, Cosmic. And Mocha Milk, you share that these past few days have been sort of rough with your boyfriend. You feel so comforting, or you're talking to me, I feel so comforting. Well, I certainly can't take your boyfriend's place, but I am happy that you are finding comfort here, and I hope that whatever happens between you, both of you will grow from it and come to a mutual understanding. And thank you, Rahina, for your tiny tinies. 11 of them. Yippee! And thank you, Vladimir, for your popcorn. Hari Om Tat Sat. Liz, you share that you've got no energy. What should you do? Recharge. Now imagine your phone talking to you. I've got no energy. What should I do? Well, nothing, my dear phone. Now it is time for you to rest. Get yourself plugged in. And in a few hours, you will have that energy required for your dharma, your duties to be fulfilled. Rahina, you ask if I will vlog my adventures in India. I will certainly do whatever is in my capacity to bring you all with me, virtually, of course. Now, there are many lovely questions from you all that I see. However, if I may ask of your patience for a few minutes, I do like to start my lives with question of the day, which we did, and then a short reading. And today we are starting, finally, the good stuff of the new book that we have been reading, In Love at Ease. We'll read a few pages from the introduction. The last few days we've been reading through the author's note and the preface. Now we are going to be reading the first chapter. Introduction. In his company. Who is he? He is who is on the cover of the book, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who was a spiritual teacher to many, many people, and a lot of people look up to him with much love. And so this lovely devotee of his, known as Yogi Trivedi, has documented some encounters with him to bring us all some peace. So without further ado, let us read our first words. We take our first steps and have our first fall on the same day. As we stop and fall some more in life, we soon realize that walking and falling go hand in hand, as does getting back up. We also learn that we need someone to help us up, to comfort us, to support us while we find our balance before walking again, and to guide us in the right direction. Consistent, trustworthy walking partners are rare in life. Typically, this unwavering support comes from those who celebrated our first steps, those who lifted us up after that first fall, and the dozens of others that followed. A mother, a sibling, a guardian, a friend, or a guru may be this supportive presence in our lives. This book is about one such exemplary human who witnessed the first steps and falls of 3 generations within and without his community, and helped them up time and time again. This is the story of His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, a guru, guide, and friend to millions, a humanly divine walking partner. I see that you have a question, 000. You're welcome to ask, but I will just finish reading our section today. I am told that I took my first steps and first fall in front of His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, also known as Swami Shri, during a sabha, a spiritual assembly, in a small mandir on Bound Street in Flushing, New York. This BAPS Shri Swami Narayan Mandir temple was one of the first Hindu houses of worship in North America, and just steps away from the renowned Ganesha Temple of the Hindu Temple Society of North America. Between these two temples and the sidewalk connecting them on Bound Street, thousands of Hindu American children learn to take their quote-unquote first steps. My story was similar to theirs, but different in that a senior sadhu, monk, Vivek Sagar Das Swami, traveling with my guru, noticed my steps in the middle of his katha, Discourse, that evening in 1984, and drew the attention of all those present, including Swami Shri. "Oh boy, he is walking his first steps in your presence. Look, Swami Shri." Though I have no recollection of this moment, I tried to relive it through the words of my parents and fellow community members, for my first steps were in the presence of someone who would continue to support me, comfort me, and guide me over the course of the next 32 years. I can, however, distinctly recall 3 interactions with my guru from 1988 onwards, which illustrate my guru's role in helping me up as I faltered on my journey. These 3 incidents shape the trajectory and govern the tone of this book. They helped me understand and reflect on the essence of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the universal spiritual lessons that he personified. This one is called I Am Sorry. In 1988, Pramukh Swami Maharaj was in New York during an 8-month-long spiritual journey across Europe, North America, South America, and Africa. I was not yet 5 years old, but enjoyed sitting in the front row of the assemblies and quote-unquote singing during my guru's morning prayer rituals. Swami Shri was kind enough to indulge and encourage me. One morning, I sang in Swami Shri's morning prayers and received a warm applause from the guru and the community. It must have got to my head, as later that evening, I waltzed to the front of the sabha, the spiritual gathering, with some of my toys in hand while Swami Shri was addressing the community. The show continued on both fronts. I talked and played while Swami Shri spoke. Swami Shri noticed me, and several of the sadhus, monks and bhaktas, devotees, hushed me to silence. I did not listen. Several minutes into my show, Swami Shri called out from the microphone in Gujarati, interspersed with broken English, "Little one, look here. No talking. Sabha now. Everyone is listening. You too. I smiled and nodded. I forgot a few minutes later and was back at my childish play in front of the assembly of more than 1,500 bhaktas, devotees, gathered for Swami Shri's darshan, a viewing or beholding of a spiritual deity from around the world. Swami Shri again spoke up on the microphone. Yogi, you sing such beautiful bhajans, devotional songs. Everyone listens. Why are you talking during the sabha? It is your turn to listen now. I am not sure if I stopped talking, but the Guru continued with a smile on his face that evening. Swami Shri's voice rings in my ears often when I fail to listen to my peers or speak over them. It was his tone and the intent behind his words that inspire me even today. He was not angry, but rather calm enough to use it as a teachable moment. But the interaction would come full circle only on the next day, when I would walk away with a lesson and memory of a lifetime. And this memory and lesson of a lifetime, let us read at a different part of this Sangha today, preferably towards the end. So I thank you all for listening to the first few pages of the introduction of In Love at Ease. I love how the author, Yogi Trivedi, had his literal first stops in front of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. Very symbolic. As I was reading, I thought he was talking about his metaphorical first steps. And he was, no doubt. But then I realized he also meant it literally. Now, thank you to those who also sent a gift whilst I was reading. And yes, the next time we'll read is when it's Sky's bedtime. It'll be his bedtime story. Very funny, Liz. And thank you, John F., for your hanging lights that you sent whilst we started to read. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Feline, you share that you put the alarm clock because you do not want to miss my live. Yama, I calm you down so much. I'm very honored that you find such serenity here. Thank you. And thank you, Liz, for your heart me and fruit friends. Jai Sitaram. And thank you, Esther, for your rose. And Truth Seeker, thank you for your heart me. Radhe Radhe. And Tatvam Asi, thank you for your quartet of roses. Yamaste. You know, I'd be curious to know what that translates to. In Sanskrit, I think that does actually mean something. Namaste means Nama Aste, which I think means I bow to you. I'm not sure what Yama would mean in this context. I know that it is sometimes used, like in pranayama, to refer to control, in this case of prana, of the breath. So yamaste might mean I control to you, or something like that. maybe I control you. That wouldn't be a good thing to say. I'll have to double check. It does roll off the tongue so easily, though. Megs, you ask, how do I go from this to real life? This vibe is on another level. I like to think that I carry this vibe around with me everywhere. It's in these moments that I get to spend with you that it really becomes externalized. But when I'm not on camera, then it all comes back like a turtle withdrawing its limbs into its shell, and it's in me. How do I phrase this? It might not be expressed in the same way that it is now, but it's still within me, always. And I did go to the beach, yes, Anna. It was lovely. I had a good walk with my mother on it. It was her favorite beach. That is right, Truth Seeker. There is a pair of twins in Puranas, Yama and I think it is Yami, the other twin. Yama was the god of death who taught to a young boy, Naciketa, the fire sacrifice to attain immortality. It's a funny story from the Upanishads, where Naciketa went to Yama, the god of death, because his father sent him there for discipline. But when he went to Yama's abode, Yama wasn't there. So he was away for 3 days. Finally, when Yama returned to see this young boy at his doorsteps, he thought, "Oh my God, I have committed a great sin. Here is this boy who has been waiting for me for 3 days, and none of my assistants in my house came out to take care of him. I am a terrible host." So he said, "Young boy, Naciketa, I shall give you 3 boons, like wishes." I think his first wish was to forgive his father. May my father be happy, or something like that. I forget. Second wish was, can you tell me how to enter heaven? How to go to Brahmalok, the abode of God, of the creator Brahma. And then his third question was, how do I attain liberation, moksha? And thank you, Isis, for your trio of roses. Hari Om Tat Sat. User 184, you ask, how do I see mathematics? I see mathematics as a kind of language to help us understand very abstract ideas that regular language simply cannot. A highly systematized language with rules for creating new concepts and ideas with symbol manipulation and operators that combine things together to create new things. It is its own universe of subtle things. Plato's universe of forms. And thank you, Vladimir, for your pair of roses. Hari Om Tat Sat. Rana Abu Ahmed. You share that you don't know if I missed your question about you breaking up with someone you love. I did miss your question. So thank you for retyping it. Breakups can be such a revolutionary time for our mind. And the heart must grieve. And during that time, no matter how much rationalization you may do, nothing can repair that hole in your heart. Is it not so? And that's okay. Something like that has its own timeline. And in the meanwhile, you will learn what it means to find love within yourself again. You may beat yourself up 1,000 different ways, inside and out. But you are still whole, and nothing can change that. You share that it hurt so much, Yam. You literally cried all morning. I know what that feels like, brother. Also, I don't mean to assume your gender. If you are a sister, you are a sister. I think at some point in the tears, you discover this peace, and you may even discover that peace before you finished grieving, and then something miraculous happens. You feel that peace, and you feel that pain at the same time. And then you feel like you don't deserve that peace because of the pain. I remember feeling that, and I almost got mad at God. In fact, I did. I said, how can you give me this peace, even though I am in so much pain? Do I not deserve that pain more than I do the peace? So why is there peace? Take it away. I don't deserve this peace for having created a wedge between myself and whom I love dearly. Any peace that I have, please give it to them. I do not want it. And the more I thought like that, the more that peace became a part of me. And then I realized that I can never take that peace away from me. It is not only my birthright, it is me. Peace is the very firmament of my consciousness. and I started laughing. Here I am, crying my eyes out over a breakup, thinking that I don't deserve peace, forgetting that peace is my essential nature. I can never be separate from what I am. And that's when I started to actually enjoy crying, because I realized that even when tears are flowing, when I am distraught in sadness, peace will always be there behind it. I think that was my encounter with Satchit Ananda. I get the Sat, I get existence, it is here. I get the Chit, consciousness, that is what I am. But the Ananda, the bliss, how is that possibly a part of my reality? I think you discover that when you realize that it can't be taken away from you. Especially when you want it to be taken from you. Thank you for your heart me a minute ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Rowan Skij, thank you for your heart me too. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And thank you, Auntie, for your pair of tiny tinies. Yahoo! Hello, Michelle. And for your rosa, finger heart, an ice cream cone, a rose, another fire, an ice cream cone, a pair of roses, a fire, and another tiny tiny. Yippee! Thank you, Auntie. Radhe, Radhe. I am happy that you love the vibes here. Noam. I agree, Yo-Yo. Disliking someone is exhausting. Gregor G, you share that your cats had a spooky experience today, running away from ghosts. You know, cows are very magical beings, worshipped in India, as many people know. They are the mother. And Kayla, thank you for your pair of finger heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Catherine, you ask, is this my real account? You know, now of course, I want to say yes. But at the same time, how would I prove that to you, Catherine? Maybe someone else has hijacked my stream and is simultaneously live streaming with a copy of me. Mind you, that would take a lot of work that I don't think they are dedicated for. What does it mean to be the real Yam? How can I prove that to you? What makes the real Yam the real Yam? Rebcore, thank you for your heartbeat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hello, just Myron. I am feeling happy and blissful. Thank you for asking. Noam, you ask, do I watch any TV shows? Lately I've been watching The Chosen, which I really loved. It's a series on Jesus, the Christ, through the eyes of his 12 disciples. However, lately, it seems like the season that I'm trying to watch isn't available anywhere. So I've been waiting and waiting. In the meantime, I haven't been watching anything but YouTube videos. John F. You share. The yam questioning realness kind of proves it. Good answer. Alright, happy we settled that, Catherine. Yes. Do be careful, as I'm sure you are. Kai Bean, you ask, how come I don't post anything? Well, I used to. But I've taken all my videos down. Good evening, Andrew. You ask, do I enjoy gardening? When my mom lets me. Sometimes I fear that I'm taking away gardening potential from her, though. But whenever she asks for my help, I very happily take part in her gardening. Hello, Marcy. Hello, Michelle. You ask, how old am I in human years? And good evening to you too. In human years? Well, let me see. What am I, a cat? I have to translate from my cat years into human years? Well, in cat years, I don't even know. I don't know what I'm getting at. In human years, I'm 22. I actually got that wrong the other day. I was telling someone something and referenced the fact that I'm 23. And they said, you're not 23. I said, yeah, I am. They said, you're born 2001. I said, right. And it's 2024. They said, but your birthday hasn't come this year yet. I said, yeah, you're right, I'm 22. I think I stopped keeping track, really. No name, no face. You thought I was 30? Kaibian, you thought that I was at least 25? Oh, goodness gracious. What is it? Am I wrinkly? Are my gray hairs coming in? Sakiko, you share that that's all you did today. Garden. Shares your mom. actually asked you if you needed any help, and that was enough. I love that. I'm happy to hear that. Kai Bean says, hey now, I'm 25, I'm not wrinkly. No, but your brain is. Many winkles, very smart. You know how some cats, you just look at them, you just know they got a smooth brain, no winkles. That's like Sandy, my cat Sandy. Smooth brain, no winkles. His brother Shadow, on the other hand, 3 winkles. Just 3 winkles. He has 1 thought per day. That's enough. Just blim. Alien T, you ask, how old am I in spirit years? In spirit years, I am 0. Reborn in each moment. I just got here. You know, in the present moment, right now, this is my first time here. Yeah. Repcore, you ask, do I have a piece of advice or wisdom I believe is essential for everyone to know? Why, yes. And it's that you already have everything that is essential to know. See, what is essential in life is for you to be happy. But the great news is that happiness is a recipe already a part of your very soul. You don't have to go out looking for that recipe. It's right there. We just lack the ingredients, that's all. I am 108 in cat years. Really, Kai Bean? Well, that's wonderful. 108 is a very sacred number. I'll have to tell people that the next time they ask my age. And thank you, Mount St. Godel Organics, for your beautiful star and marvelous confetti. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Vladimir, thank you for your disco love and a tiny. Yahoo! G to infinity, you ask, do I enjoy watching fireworks? I do. I enjoy watching them. I just don't like listening to them. And thank you, John F., for your heartbeat, cake, friendship necklace, and a tiny. Yahoo! Gardening Greg RG, you ask, what about those light up drone shows. That's a great idea. I don't know if I have any around me, but it is like a fireworks show, a little quieter. Though at the same time I wonder how loud all those engines are, or the propellers on so many different drones. Feline, you say, Yam, please calm you down, because a man ran over your cat on purpose, and he got to be amputated. You're so sad. That is a very sad thing, and I'm very sorry to hear that. You know how much I love cats. I think that would definitely be a test of my patience. I would probably be going through a list of all the ways I could get back at that person. You know, I'll tell you a secret. Sometimes my mind likes scheming. My mind is a big schemer. Just last summer, and I'll come back to your cat in a moment, but to relate with you on that feeling, someone, my neighbor, cut my hedge. Not my hedge, the hedge that's in my backyard. And my backyard is covered by hedges, so I feel very allowed to be myself privately. You know, it's very isolating. And they cut a big hole in it. And my parents asked them, why did you do that to our hedge? The hedge is on our property line. They said, because we're growing a garden and we want to let some light in for the garden to grow. And so that night, I was looking up military grade night vision goggles, and I was going to go into their backyard in the middle of the night, and I was going to pluck out all their carrots, grab all their tomatoes. I was going to make a big salad out of it. So I was in the process of emailing this night vision company who made military grade night vision goggles, and I said, hey, you know, I've got this big TikTok platform, so many followers. If you sent me some night vision goggles, I would make a free video for you. This was all just to attend to my need of retribution. And after I typed out that email, I deleted it. I felt like it's not that important. You know, just mentally going through with it was enough of a retribution for me. Now it has given me an opportunity to be more grateful with the time that I did have with that hedge. And now it's given me a seva, some service, for me to attend to that hedge, give it lots of water, take care of it so it grows back strong. Likewise, with the cat, we may be feeling all this resentment towards that person, but we have also been given now an opportunity to take care of their needs, the little cat's needs, make sure that it heals, becomes nice and strong in its other legs, give it lots of love, and it makes the time that we have with it even more precious. but I feel you. You just want to love and take care of such a helpless creature, part of that creation. It is ripe for a lot of emotions to arise in the process, and that is also a part of life. And thank you, feline, for your quintet of roses. All my best wishes to you and your lovely felines. Theodora, you share that your neighbors removed all the trees on the fence line, and now they complain about their messy yard, or your messy yard. Yeah. Neighbors can be a handful sometimes. It's hard when everyone has their own space, but have their own different ways of expressing themselves through that shared space. And expectations, intentions. Life is pretty messy. But don't worry. If they're calling you out on your messy yard, I'll tell you a secret. It's only because their mind is so messy. Your yard is actually a lot cleaner than their own their own yard of the brain. They just can't seem to get their own thoughts in order, so they try to get everything else around them in order. And then when neither of those things work, they get upset. Thank you, feline, for your rose. Hari Om Tat Sat. Seventh letter G. Is that right? Now you're gonna make me count. Alright. Good. You know, it would be really frustrating if your name was seventh letter H. If it didn't line up. You ask, why did I take all of my videos down on TikTok? I took them down because I felt like they weren't serving me anymore. Yes, they were raking in views and likes and comments and giving me lots of followers, but that's not what I want. And hello, Skip H. And thank you, Kelly, for your heartbeat. Hari Om Tat Sat. And hello, MJ. I feel you, feline. Yeah. And you are hurting just as they are hurting, which is their point. Hurt people, as Gregor G says. It's a very misunderstood way of coming to understanding. People feel so misunderstood themselves that they feel like the only way other people could understand what they're going through is if we put them through the same emotions. I'm sad, and you could never understand, therefore I'm going to make you sad so that you can understand. There is some trace of logic behind it, but there's also so many better ways to come to understanding. For instance, maybe they are not going through a similar thing as you. Maybe they have in the past, or maybe they haven't, but they are able to connect with you in some other way. We all live in the same universe, and we all live with the same consciousness. When you connect to someone on that level, then there's no need to make them go through anything, because they understand who you are, what you are. And thank you, Liz, for your poutine. Jai Sitaram. Sky Guardian, you ask, is that meat? No, poutine is a Canadian dish with French fries, gravy, and cheese. It's vegetarian. Mr. Mate, you share that your house is surrounded by wasp nests, spider webs, and bird nests. You struggle with disturbing them. It can be difficult to be a pacifist, especially when you are very serious about not causing harm to any living creature. Oh, there is an ant in my house. I must take care of this ant like a guest. Oh, there's a spider, wasp, a bee, a bird. Let me allow them all to be here. I think the problems start when there becomes infighting with all the creatures. My mother had to draw the line when the wasps were attacking the hummingbirds. She said, as much as I love both hummingbirds and wasps, I also have to protect my hummingbirds, and therefore I am going to try to take this wasp nest away. But it's not because I don't like wasps. It's because I love them and the hummingbirds, and I don't want them to fight with each other. Good morning, Steve. Alexandria, you ask, can I sing you all a little song? That couple seconds tickled your brain? Well, I'm afraid I don't know any songs besides lullabies or the happy birthday song, or some mantras. I can sing you a mantra. One of my favorite mantras is the Gayatri mantra. You can do that one. The Gayatri mantra is very old, part of the Rig Veda, the Vedas being humanity's oldest scriptures. The Rig Veda is especially old, the oldest of them. Some Vedic scholars date the Rig Veda to 8,000 years ago. This mantra, which is a part of the Rig, is so famous that it was even famous at the time of the Buddha, 2,500 years ago. The Buddha said that no other meter is so sublime as the Gayatri. He's talking about the poetic meter that the Gayatri mantra is in, with 8 syllables on each line. It goes like this. Om Bhur Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodaya. And it means something like, Om, the earth, the interspace, and the celestial plane, sun-like divinity, worthy of worship, dissolver of ignorance, we meditate upon. May you propel our intellect towards enlightenment. And thank you, Me. It's Pidge for your heartbeat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Kat, you share that you have a headache. Hoping coming here will remove it slowly. Well, I like your reasoning of having it dissolve slowly. I think that is a very reasonable expectation. It may not go away instantly, but it can gradually dissipate. Sometimes I like to imagine flushing the brain, you know, like a toilet. You flush the toilet, all swirls around and down the pipes. Well, imagine all these swirling thoughts going down the spine. And it happens like that sometimes. You've all felt the feeling of chills going down your spine. Those are your thoughts. See, we have all of these thoughts up here, and then suddenly something in our environment takes us to the present moment. Maybe it's the sound of something in the bushes. Or what are we going to do for survival if we have all of these worldly thoughts in our way? We gotta flush them back down the spine, to the root, back to the subconscious. So we feel that flushing of thoughts down the spine as chills down our back. Now there are few thoughts. You can have maximum alertness towards what needs to be attended to. Vachanamrut time, says Sky Guardian. Alright, let us read from another section of the Vachanamrut. This is a book that you have sent us, Sky Guardian, from your childhood Sampradaya, the BAPS. It revolves around teachings of a great being known as Swami Narayan. Here we are reading Gadhada 132. A nest and a stake. On the morning of Posh Vadhi III, Samvat 1876, or the 3rd of January 1820, Sri Ji Maharaj was sitting on a large decorated cot on the veranda outside the west-facing rooms of Dada Khachar's Darbar in Gadhada. Gregorji's favorite sentence. Isn't it so? He was wearing a white case and had tied a white pug around his head. He had also covered himself with a white cotton cloth. Sandalwood paste had been applied to his forehead. He was wearing a garland of white flowers, and tassels of white flowers were dangling from his pug. At that time, while some munis were singing devotional songs, other munis, as well as devotees from various places, had gathered before him in an assembly. Sri Ji Maharaj then said, "Please listen, I have a question to ask." Thereupon the munis and devotees said, "Maharaj, please ask." After thinking for quite some time, Sri Ji Maharaj said, "In this world, a materialistic individual who is attached to the Vishays, the experiences of the senses, cannot survive without indulging in them. Moreover, just as that person whom is without belief indulges in Vishays, similarly, one who has devotion for that source of existence, a devotee of God, also indulges in Vishays, experiences of the senses. However, the two are different. In what way? Well, the materialistic person who is attached to Vishays enjoys only worldly Vishays, whereas for one with devotion of that source, listening to discourses only about that source is the only Vishay for their ears. Touching the holy feet of a form of that divinity, or touching the holy dust from the feet of a sant, a saintly being, is the only Vishay for their skin. Doing darshan, sight, of that source or a saintly being is the only Vishay for their eyes. Taking prasad, that is, food offered with reverence to the source, and singing their praises are the only Vishays for their tongue. And smelling the flowers and other objects which have been offered to that source, God, is the only Vishay for their nose. In this manner, there is a difference between the Vishays, the experiences of the senses, that someone without devotion indulges in, and those with devotion indulge in. Cat, you share, you love prasadam. I'm happy to hear that. It is very interesting. I may pause to share a relevant experience from my own life. I remember hiking up a mountain one time, and all I carried with me for a snack was an orange. And just before I decided to peel it, I instead held my hand up and said, "Oh Lord, oh universe, I first offer this orange to you. In fact, although I intend on eating what remains, if you were to make this orange disappear, I would be even more satisfied, knowing that I have rendered service unto you." And after a few minutes of meditation, then I opened the orange peel, and I had one slice of the orange, and it was sweeter than any orange I've ever tasted. Now, I've had one orange from the same batch earlier that day and later, but only the orange that I offered first as prasad became extra sweet on my tongue. Furthermore, just as one with devotion cannot stay without indulging in the Vishays, even eternally liberated muktas, such as Narada and the Sanakadik, cannot stay without indulging in them. We have to use our senses for experiences. Although they remain in samadhi, a kind of meditative absorption, for long periods of time, after emerging from samadhi, they also indulge in Vishays in the form of discourses, talks, devotional songs, etc., related to that source, God. For example, birds leave their nests to gather food, but after gathering their food, they always return to their respective nests at night to rest. Never do they forget their own nests and return to another bird's nest. Similarly, after feeding on discourses, talks, devotional songs, etc., related to that source, devotees also return to their own nest in the form of God to rest. Again, animals, birds, and, in fact, all creatures return to their respective homes to rest after feeding. People also travel far and wide for their work, but only when they return to their own home do they rest peacefully. Now, based on the analogies that I have just narrated, I ask all the devotees, just as one without devotion or belief is attached to worldly Vishays, experiences of the senses, and is unable to live without them for even a single moment. Similarly, after becoming firmly attached to the Vishays in the form of Shravan, Manan, etc., this is listening, discussing, and putting into practice the realization of the talks and discourses related to the divine. Have you also become attached to and engrossed in them, or not? Also, Just as a bird returns to its nest after feeding, do all of you also return to rest in your nest, the form of that source, after feeding on feed in the form of discourses, devotional songs, etc. related to God? Or do you rest elsewhere? I agree, Greg RG. Nest rest is the best. Furthermore, cattle that are domesticated return to their stake in the evening after grazing on the outskirts of the village, whereas stray cattle do not return to their stake. A stray cow, after grazing in someone's field, sits wherever it wishes. There, someone may beat it, or if a tiger comes, it may even attack the cow. Now, do you return to your stake like the domesticated cattle, or like the stray cattle? Do you sit down to rest anywhere after grazing in someone else's field? Let the seniors amongst you answer these questions after due deliberation. Thereupon, all of the munis and devotees replied individually, Maharaj, we have indeed become attached to discourses, devotional songs, etc. related to God. Moreover, except for the nest and stake in the form of God's form, we do not stray anywhere else. Hearing this reply, Sriji Maharaj became extremely pleased. Towards the end of the afternoon, on that same day, Sriji Maharaj was seated facing the mandir, temple of Sri Vasudeva Narayan, on a large decorated cot under the neem tree in the center of Dada Kachar's Darbar. At that time, while some munis were singing devotional songs, other munis as well as devotees from various places had gathered before him in an assembly. Sriji Maharaj then requested, now please begin a question-answer dialogue. Thereupon, Dinanath Bhatt and Brahmananda Swami asked, at times, a devotee of God is able to blissfully engage in the worship and remembrance of God, and is able to concentrate on that form. At other times, however, they are disturbed within and is unable to experience the bliss of worship and remembrance. What is the reason for this? Sriji Maharaj replied, they have not mastered the technique of beholding the form of the divine. Hearing this, Muktananda Swami asked, what is that technique? Sriji Maharaj explained, the technique is as follows. Different gunas, these are of three kinds, which I'm sure will be mentioned, that are flavors of material existence in the form of tamas, rajas, and sattva. Different gunas enter the antakaran, the individual, the whole mind, at different times. When sattva guna, the guna of sattva, which is the mode of purity, prevails, the antakaran, the whole mind, is pure, and one can pleasantly engage in worship and remembrance of the form of the divine. When Rajogun prevails, this is the guna of Rajas, of passion, the Antakaran becomes polluted and many disturbing thoughts arise, making it difficult to engage in worship and remembrance. When Tamoguna, the guna of tamas, ignorance, prevails, no thoughts arise in the Antakaran at all. Therefore, a person engaged in worship should learn to recognize the prevailing guna. That is your mind in the mode of ignorance, passion, or purity right now? And should meditate on the form of the divine whenever sattva gun prevails, the mode of purity. When tamogun prevails, no thoughts arise at all, and one experiences a feeling of emptiness. One should not attempt bless me. One should not attempt to meditate on God in such conditions. When Rajogun prevails, thank you, many disturbing thoughts arise when we are overthinking, perhaps. Therefore, one should not attempt to meditate on God at that time either. How interesting is that? If you are having trouble generating any thoughts at all, or you are overthinking, then let yourself go. Don't hold yourself to such a burden of trying to meditate when sattva gun isn't present. On such occasions, one should think, I am distinct from these thoughts. In fact, I am the knower of these thoughts. Furthermore, Purushottam Bhagavan, God, is forever present within me as Antaryami. Only when the force of Rajogun subsides should one meditate on the form of God. However, one should not become dejected on noticing the many thoughts which arise when Rajogun prevails. After all, the Antakaran, the whole mind, is like a small child, or a monkey, or a dog, or like a person who plays with a child. The nature of the Antakaran is such that it remains fidgety for no reason whatsoever. Relatable. Therefore, one who wishes to meditate on divinity should not become disheartened on seeing the disturbing thoughts that arise in the Antakaran. Moreover, the thoughts arising in the Antakaran should not be accepted as being a part of oneself. Instead, the Antakaran should be regarded as being distinct from oneself. You are not the mind. Thus, one should believe one's Atma, their soul, their true self, consciousness, to be distinct and engage in the worship of God. Okay, that was a bit of a longer one. It almost felt like two of them when suddenly a different scene was laid out, where Sriji Maharaj was now sitting someplace else. But that was the end of, let me read it again, Gadhada 1:33. 132. Next time we will read 133. Thank you for listening. Now, I don't believe I sent my regards to Chris Morton, who sent a cloud bread, an ice cream cone, a rose, and a GG just before we started reading. If you are still here, or even if not, do allow me to extend my gratitude back to you. Thank you. Radhe Radhe. David Brun, you had asked if you can ask a simple question. You are certainly welcome to ask indeed. And Tapini, thank you for your heart me a moment ago as well. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Tan Hao Yu, thank you for your heart me. Jai Sitaram. Sam Armstrong, welcome. Happy to have you here, and hello Space Dust. David, you ask, how much time a day do I give to my community, so to speak? Well, I definitely don't time it, but I try to live stream for at least a few hours every day, sometimes many more hours. But outside of that, I do spend a lot of time replying to messages in the morning or before I go to sleep. My inbox is usually very full if I leave it unattended for even a few hours. So it is like a full-time job, but one that doesn't feel like work for me. And Kat, thank you for your paper crane just a moment ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. But I'm happy you find this setting relaxing for you, David. I almost made a portmanteau of your first name and last name. Almost called you Daybrid. And hello, Taylin. And Judah Girl, hello. You share that you went to a spiritual retreat this weekend. That's very interesting. How was that for you? Knew you? And you ask, is the purpose of life more simple than we assume? Humans do have a tendency to overcomplicate simple things. And the purpose of life being simple would probably be one of the things that we also overcomplicate. Definitely. Judah Girl, you share that. It was amazing. You all had a unity circle with 1,000 people. The energy you share. That sounds like a wonderful and transformative experience for you. A lot of people with a shared intention of being there together to heal, to love, to transform. Amazing. And you're still lit. Yes, that is very understandable. I'm sure that you have grown from it in ways that are still going to be reverberating for quite some time. David, you ask if I could remind you all which books, religious or not, concrete steps I have passed, reached through like steps up to my belief faith. I feel as though the faith that I have was not found through reading from a book, although there are many books that I could recommend. The faith, however, that is something that I believe develops naturally within someone as they begin to recognize that we are very much blind in many ways to our own potential and the potential of the universe, the world around us. As we start to expand our comfort zone, that faith starts to compound and build on itself. The more faith you put in the universe, the more it becomes worthy of faith. It all starts with that first step. Like if you've ever watched Indiana Jones, there is that scene in one of the movies. I think it's the movie where he's looking for the Holy Grail, and he's in a kind of temple complex, and there's this great pit below him that if he falls, he will certainly die. And on the other side of the pit is a corridor that he's supposed to get to. And he has faith that there's something that he can't see that will hold him up as he walks. And indeed, miraculously, as he takes each step, a kind of invisible walkway becomes apparent. At first it seemed like there was no way there, but with faith, the invisible becomes tangible, and we begin to make our way towards the goal. Feline, you share, Yam, you would love me to one day make a relaxation again. Last time it was so good. What kind of relaxation? And David, you share that your two gods are mathematics and love, and the couple between the two would be a third entity. I love that. Hatha Yoga, says Feline. Hatha Yoga. I am not sure what kind of yoga this is. Hatha Yoga with an H? H-A-T-H-A? Do you mean? If so, I certainly haven't done Hatha Yoga. At least not on my live stream. And thank you, PR, for your ice cream cone. Hari Om Tat Sat. Feline you share, or whatever sophrology. Now I am even more confused. The same meditation. Ah, I see. We did do a meditation the other day. that is something that we do at the end of each Sangha sometimes, where we have a chanting or a meditation or a kirtana, a devotional singing session on ASMR Sundays, because the whole live stream is to be a meditative experience. Then we don't do that at the end. But if you ever want to listen to the same meditations that we do on here, they are uploaded to my Yamsox Live's YouTube channel, and although they aren't live, you are welcome to watch any of the previous ones there for you. And thank you, Liz, for your hat and mustache and a dancing flower. Hari Om Tat Sat. I am sorry if the gifts are frustrating for you, Liz. I am unsure what the difficulties are in getting some of them to interact with my face. Corina, you ask, what is that song I periodically sing? It is a selection of mantras in Sanskrit, like Radhe Radhe or Hari Om Tat Sat or Jai Sitaram. They are ancient words that mean some very beautiful things that maybe I can tell you some of them. Radhe or Radhe, it means O Mother, in the form of bliss herself, as the potency of the whole universe, all living beings and the relationships that exists between them. You are all attractive, so beautiful, so powerful, and so loving. That you are, I call out to you. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, MJ, for your hand heart. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. David, you ask, do I know Kundalini? I am familiar with her, yes. And thank you, Feline, for your rose. Jai Hanumanji. Karina, you ask if I have thoughts on dreams and dream meanings. I think dreams can be a source of so much meaning. I mean, they are the very way in which we interface with our subconscious. All the meaning that we have still yet to resolve from endless samskaras, impressions of past lives. It's all there for us to engage in during sleep. And David, you share, as your cousin teaches Kundalini, She brings her students to great places, such as Mansion in Scotland. Your cousin sounds like a very wonderful being, and that's very interesting. Diane is ASMR. You ask. I just realized it's Dionys, isn't it? Where am I from? Big or small? The big place I am from is the universe. The small place I am from is Canada. Citizen of the world. Yes, well said. It sounds wonderful, David. Sky Guardian, you share that you were telling Yogi Bhai that everyone loves their book. He's like, it's Bapa's book. He refuses to take credit. That's so sweet. That's the author of the book that we've been reading, In Love at Ease. Now, how wonderful that you contacted him about that. It's Bapa's book, not mine. And indeed, on the front cover, you will not find his name. Now, it's on the spine, however. Where is it? There it is. Yogi Trivedi. Bapa's book. Feline, you share that a yoga teacher mama is still at 88 years old. Very impressive. They say that in yoga, you're only as old as your spine. If you're young, but your spine is not standing up straight, you're always slouching, then you're practically an old person. But if you are old and your spine is very straight and flexible, then you are still very young. Haven't you noticed? Old people that have a flexible back, they are just so vibrant. Young people with stiff backs, try getting them to do anything, they won't budge. I'm speaking from experience. I broke my back a few years ago. And my goodness, I was feeling like I was 88. Walking around with a cane. Take care of your spine. And thank you, Paul, for your quartet of finger hearts, and a dozen roses, and a team bracelet. Jai Sitaram. And Feline, thank you for another rose. David, you ask, can we hate itself? We certainly can. But then we'd be only adding to all the hate, wouldn't we? We would just be increasing the hate in the world. If instead we love love itself, then we'd be adding to all the love in the world. And thank you, Paul, for allowing me to be here with you in our shared quest to find peace. Justice Angel, you shared that you emailed me. Please read it. I think I did glance at it just before I started live streaming. Was it you who asked if it was okay for you to write me, and if it cost any money for me to reply to you? If it was, then I can affirm to you now, it definitely does not cost any money for me to reply to you. Yes, it was? Okay. Yes, no, nothing I do is of any cost to you. And thank you, Liz, for your little crown and a hat and mustache. Did those one work? I didn't see. I hope it did for you. But thank you. Hari Om Tat Sat. The hat one is the only one that works. Weird. I wonder why that is. Liz, you share. So the account saying it's me for the reading wasn't me. Yes. It was not I. If I would offer a reading, and it definitely would not be at any cost like that. I think these scammers have underestimated all of your abilities to recognize who I am. I would like to believe that anyone who follows me understands that I'm not exactly the kind to do astrological readings for you, especially for a price. So it must be tough business, I assume. I think there are easier ways for them to make money. They haven't made it easy for themselves. And thank you, Justice Angel, for your forever rosa. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Isabella, thank you for your heart me, your team bracelet, and a cheer me up. I still to this day don't quite know what a cheer me up is. Looks like a pair of sticks. Like glue sticks for example. Thank you. I like how it's called Cheer You Up. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Paul, thank you for your 4 rosas. Radhe, Radhe. And Greg RG, you ask, what are my thoughts on tarot and readings? I don't know, but I do know that opening up a random page from the Pocket Pema Chodron is a great way to get a spiritual reading. So let her speak for me as we crack open this wonderful book from one of the wisest women in the world, Buddhist nun Pema Chodron. Let us read number 47. We have met the enemy and the friend. It was Pogo, a cartoon character created by Walt Kelly, who said, "We have met the enemy, and he is us." This particular slogan now appears a lot in the environmental movement. It isn't somebody else who's polluting the rivers. It's us. The cause of confusion and bewilderment and pollution and violence isn't really someone else's problem. It's something we can come to know in ourselves. But in order to do that, we have to understand that we have met the friend, and he is me. The more we make friends with ourselves, the more we can see that our ways of thinking, that our ways of shutting down and closing off are rooted in the mistaken thinking that the way to get happy is to blame somebody else. Now, it's a little uncertain who is us, quote unquote, and who is them, quote unquote. Bernard Glassman Roshi, who does a lot of work with the homeless in New York, said that he doesn't work with the homeless because he's such a great guy, but because going into the areas of society that he has rejected is the only way to make friends with the parts of himself that he's rejected. It's all interrelated. We work on ourselves in order to help others, but we help others in order to work on ourselves. That's a very important point. And that's 47. We have met the enemy and the friend. And he is us. Thank you for listening. Lil Bapur, welcome back. You ask, where from? Well, if you're asking where Pema is from, I'm not sure. Maybe it says in the beginning of this book. She's an American Buddhist nun, so I assume America. No, you mean me? Oh, I am just north of America, in Canada. And thank you, Benz, for your heartbeat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Pema is American. I know, it's funny. It's like convergent evolution. All the Buddhists just converge to kind of looking like the Buddha. I mean, she looks like a Buddhist, doesn't she? Flying through space on our way to enlightenment. She's got that aura on her. She does, doesn't she? Well, if they look like a Buddhist and they quack like a Buddhist, it must not be a Buddhist. There, that's your koan for the day. If it looks like the Buddha and it sounds like the Buddha, then it must not be the Buddha. Yes. The Buddha that can be named is not the eternal Buddha. There is that real koan. Well, all of these are real koans, but koan that I've previously heard. That if you find the Buddha in the road or on the path, kill him. Poor Buddha. That's such a funny emoji, Isabella. Eyes popping out. Hello, Shay. Welcome. Justice Angel, you ask if rain sounds help me sleep. I'm sure they would. I usually never think to put them on though. But when it is raining, I will open my window and listen to the actual rain as I fall asleep. And hello, Jimmy B. Greg RG, and in parentheses, I don't have a tin roof. You could put a tin can outside your window, and then it'll sound like drums. The rain playing the drums. Justice Angel, you share that you have trouble falling asleep. What helps me? Well, simply put, calming the mind. A restless mind is the #1 cause for a lack of sleep. The mind has something that it just can't quite let go of. So, working that out before you go to sleep, that's a great practice. If you feel like you're anxious for the day ahead, and you don't quite know what you're supposed to say tomorrow, what you're supposed to do, take a few minutes before you go to bed and process that idea, rather than trying to shut it away to get some shut-eye yourself. I find that having a notebook next to your bed, or even an app on your phone where you can just put a thought, can help get that thought out of your mind. If this thought keeps coming back to you, and you're not even sure why, write it down and say to yourself, I've acknowledged the thought, I've written it down. Tomorrow I'll read the thought again, and if I need to do anything about it, I will. Justice Angel, you like writing poems? There you go. Maybe you can write a bedtime poem, a sleepy poem for you before you go to bed. It could be as simple as, I am tired, I want to go to sleep, my brain just won't shut off, I want to go to sleep. My mind is racing, my heart is beating, birds are chirping, and I want to go to sleep. I may have left the oven on, I may have forgotten who I am. I could have left some things unspoken. My brain is tired, I want to sleep. It doesn't have to be an elaborate poem, one full of beautiful prose and a perfect rhyme scheme and a meter fit to the T. Affirming to yourself that I am me, right now, in this moment, and that is enough. I've done what I needed to do today, and I look forward to how I will grow tomorrow. Right now, I will enjoy the softness of my bed sheets, the darkness of my room, the gentle rising and falling of my breath, and thoughts about my favorite people, my favorite places, my favorite things. I bring to my mind all that is conducive to love and peace, and I will leave this waking world to enter my dreaming world with full embrace, knowing that I am safe, I am loved, I am enough. Thank you, Justice Angel, for your heart, hand hearts and a rose. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hello, Dob Darker. And thank you for your heartbeat. Jai Sitaram. G to infinity, you share that staring at the moon is your bedtime story. So sweet. Sometimes when I look at the moon, I think about how many other people are also looking at that same moon from so many places on the hemisphere. Same with the sun. How many people are in the same sunlight right now, looking at that same sky, same sun, same moon, same stars? There's a lot of consciousness there that you are a part of. And you too, Justice Angel. You wonder who else is counting stars. Gregor, you say, let's all look at the moon at once. The moon be like, moon says, hello, my lovely beings. Happy to see you all. And yes, Corina, I have 2 cats, and their names are Shadow and Sandy. They are brothers. Saturnus, you hop out of bed, look at the mirror and say, you good looking thing, you. Have an awesome day. I think that gave me a joke idea. Being at a friend's house, looking at the mirror, saying, wow, it's a really beautiful painting. They say, that's a mirror. Oh, well, you have a very beautiful mirror. And thank you, Dionys, for your friendship necklace. Hari Om Tat Sat. Corina, you share that you think pets help us heal or something. Absolutely. You know what I think pets do? I think they give us an opportunity to love. And when we love, we feel better. It feels good not just to be loved, but also to love. When your puppy's on his back, going like, oh yes, rub my tummy, oh yes, that's the good stuff right there, oh don't stop, yes. Now the puppy is feeling great, no doubt about that. But we also feel great, vicariously. We go, wow, is that really all it takes? All I'm doing is giving you a little rub. And yet, from your tummy is erupting so much bliss, my little pup. I didn't know I had it in me to bring so much happiness to you. Or when I'm really sad and I'm crying, my cat comes in the room, looks at me, notices that I'm crying, lays on my lap, and says, all right, it's okay, you can pet me. I've got you, just pet me. So we sniffle, we keep crying, we start petting the cat. Cat starts purring. Suddenly we feel better. What the heck? How does that work? You know, the cat should be petting us, shouldn't they? If we're crying, the cat should be on our back, making biscuits on our back. Instead, the cat says, no, you pet me. Because it knows that the greatest kind of peace, healing, happiness, and bliss is found in giving, not receiving. Cat says, I give you this opportunity to give to me, and you will be happy. And thank you, Shakira, for your heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Colorado Gem Shop, thank you for your, how many is this? 31 roses in total. Jai Sitaram. You also have a question. How come I don't make TikToks anymore? You really loved them. Well, I am very happy that you loved them. To tell you the truth, I loved sharing my passions so much that I got a little carried away with them. And I discovered that what I really want to do is connect with you on a deeper level than just what's on the surface. There's only so much you can do with a video, but once a video is posted, it's static, it's set in stone, and there could be an evolution in the comment section for a few weeks and then it comes to pass. But real change, real spiritual growth is ongoing. It's a continual process. So I have gravitated towards mediums or media like this, where, you know, I don't reach as wide of an audience, but that's okay for me, because I can penetrate deeper and have conversation with you on these matters. And I thank you for understanding. And Feline, thank you for your rose a moment ago. And Benz, thank you for your octet of finger hearts. Radhe, Radhe. I try to do a live every day. And thank you, MJ, for your heart me. Jai Sitaram. And thank you, Feline, for another rose. And Romy, Thank you for your Rosa. Alice, you share that. Lives are so much more beautiful. You used to go live. Makes you feel connected. Definitely. Absolutely. And thank you, Josh. And I love that sentiment you shared a moment ago. Lovely heights. Existing is so cool. It's very cool in many ways. It's also very overwhelming in other ways. Professional yapper. Welcome. You share you're a professional? We'll have to see about that. We'll have to test your yapping abilities. Joanna, you share that you try to be here every day, even if it's for a few minutes. Brings you peace. That fills my heart with warmth as you fill this live with your warmth by your very presence here. Thank you. Romy, you share that it's such a privilege to watch my content. You have a lot of hard work today. Love to listen working. I don't think I have words to express how much that means to me. Thank you. And I love to be a part of your workday. So thank you for including me in it. May your work today be purposeful and fulfilling. And Valeria, thank you for your donut a moment ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Mermaid, thank you for your rose. Jai Sitaram. Sky Storm, you say, wait, why do I look familiar? And you feel like you know me. I've got it. 3 lifetimes ago, we were mortal enemies, like Sherlock and Moriarty. We defined each other, yet we are always at odds with each other. Now it is time to fight again. But this time, not with sticks and stones, which may break each other's bones, but with the beautiful conflict of differing experiences coming together, trying to find some way to connect. Hello, Swasti Dananda. Namaste. Ghost Monkey, you had asked, what would I recommend for someone being attacked by 3 to 4 spiritual entities? Very specific. Not any other number. Not 2 to 7. 14 to 19. Precisely 3 to 4. That changes things, doesn't it? Yes. There are 3 to 4 things always which we are in conflict with. We are in conflict with our sense of self. We are in conflict with our decision making. We are in conflict with our thinking. And we can be also in conflict with our body. These 4 parts of ourselves, we have to learn to love and validate. I love this body which Mother Earth has given me. Affirm to yourself that. And then that negative entity will go away. The one trying to tell you that you should have a different body, or your body should be in a different way. Affirm to yourself that your mind is natural, your thoughts are allowed, and you don't have to give energy to every thought. Affirm to yourself this, and that negative entity will go away. Affirm to yourself that you make decisions that are right for you in the moment. And although the moment may change and you may have to make decisions later, you are given everything you need at each moment to make those decisions to the best of your abilities and what makes sense to your experience. Affirm to yourself this, and that negative entity will go away. And affirm to yourself that your sense of self is growing, it is changing, and you are coming to understand who you are, and you are enough. Affirm to yourself that, and that negative entity will go away also. All these entities telling us that our body should be in a different way, our mind should be in a different way, our intellect should be in a different way, and our ego should be in a different way. Give yourself unconditional love and acceptance. And nobody can sway you anyway. Mermaid Nicole, thank you for your rose a few minutes ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Aquarius Lady, thank you for your subscription. I do hope you enjoy the stickers that come with that. And you know you are always welcome here. And Justice Angel, I see that you also subscribed, though it is never a necessary decision that you should make to be a part of this Sangha. Know that I am very grateful for the opportunity to connect with you deeper with this token of appreciation. Thank you. Radhe Radhe. Of course, Ghost Monkey. Recognizing you is a blessing that you give everyone the opportunity to experience. purpose of being a beautiful soul is so that others may recognize it. Isn't it so? The purpose of being beautiful is to give others the opportunity to experience beauty. Isn't it so? You don't make yourself beautiful so that others don't notice you. So that you become a blessing to the eyes, to the ears, to the nose, to the soul, to the witness. And Roberta, thank you for your trio of roses moments ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hexakin, hello. You share that if I feel like feelings are boundless, I probably feel you're hurt right now. Well, I thank you for sharing that portal to me through which I may come to hold some space for what you are experiencing right now. And although I may not know the context to the content, I know that you are valid in everything that you're going through. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your heartbeat and a rose. Hari Om Tat Sat. Justice Angel, you thank me for having such a peaceful place you can be. Well, I thank you all for being a part of that peace. And thank you for your love you that you sent a moment ago as well. Radhe Radhe. And Corey W., thank you for your heartbeat. Jai Sitaram. And I almost didn't notice, Justice Angel, you also sent a subscription to Romy. That is a very thoughtful thing to do, to gift something for someone else. And I always enjoy having Romy here. I appreciate the opportunity you have given me to vicariously connect with them. And thank you, Adri. I am feeling happy and healthy. And Hexa, can you share that you're feeling so ashamed? Shame is a common emotion, absolutely. You are not alone. However, you are also not alone in having potential for being kinder to yourself, recognizing that anything that you have done, you did according to your experience in that moment. And you still may learn from this feeling, and you are always worthy of love. And Feline, thank you for your rose a few minutes ago. And Romy, you ask who helped you with a sub? Now that was none other than Justice Angel who sent one to you. John, for your balloons a few minutes ago as well. Jai Sitaram. And July Moonchild, I see that you also subscribed. Seems to be a trend in the last few minutes. It is very humbling to have so many bountiful opportunities to learn and grow with all of you. Hari Om Tat Sat. I'm happy to hear that, Eagle Horse. Clarity is such a relieving sensation, isn't it? And thank you, Aquarius Lady, for your 7 roses a few minutes ago. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hexa, can you share that? It's a 15-year-old relationship coming to an end. Struggling to find meaning, but only my voice is enough. Well, I am happy that my voice speaks to you when many other things may not be able to. I am honored to fill a part of a role that was so meaningful to you. 15 years is a long time. Knowing this, I treasure your words very carefully and recognize the pain that you must be going through. I also know that no matter the age of a relationship that you have beheld, nothing compares to the eternity of peace that you are always eligible for in this moment and the next. So, regardless of what sensations you experience in body and mind, you will survive this, ever new and untouched at your core. Yes, thank you, Auntie, for your friendship necklace a moment ago. And Joanna, thank you for your heart meat, ice cream cone and finger heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. You've got this, Hexagon. I believe in you. And Dionysus ASMR. Dionysus ASMR. Slowly, I am coming to understand the fullness of your username. Thank you also for subscribing. May you enjoy the little sticker pack that you get along with such a gesture. And if there are any stickers that you would like to be a part of it, I would be happy to consider them. Hello, say no to Kale. You ask, do I have a favorite mantra? The one that I chant every day, from the moment I wake up to the moment that I go to sleep. So sorry for spacing out. I just remembered a dream about a mantra. As I was saying, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I was thinking, it'd be nice if I could do it in my dream also. And then I remember that I had a dream last night about doing a mantra, and it was a very powerful dream. I was on the beach in the middle of the night, and I was doing the mantra Hari Om Tat Sat, saying it again and again, Hari Om Tat Sat. And every time I said it in my dream, the fire grew bigger and bigger, and it started changing colors. It became a rainbow fire, and fire started coming out of my very being. And with each repetition of Hari Om Tat Sat, everything was engulfed in this beautiful rainbow fire. So I thank you for reminding me of that dream. Funny enough, it's not the same mantra that I chant from sunrise to sunset. That mantra, on the other hand, is the Maha Mantra, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And thank you, Joanna, for your cloud bread a moment ago as well. Jai Sitaram. Exit, can you share? You're so grateful for me. Give you a chance to prove it to me. I believe you, my friend. You never have to prove anything to me. Recognize the potential that is within you, and that is enough for me. And Auntie, thank you for your cap, your ginger man, your finger heart, your rosa, Radhe Radhe, and your pair of tiny tinies. Yippee! And Bam, you share that you would love to do an art project of that dream. LOL. It just sounds satisfying. Well, no pressure, but that sounds amazing. And I'd be very honored if just that thought alone inspires you to create something, even if it's totally different from the dream as I have described. And July Moonchild, thank you for your rose. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mr. Mate, you share. If you're comparing yourself to Yam, in many ways you fall short. Luckily, you are comparing yourself to you. If I compare myself to Yam, in many ways I also fall short. And July Moonchild, thank you for your rose. Radhe Radhe. Auntie, you love the little things I say all the time. Well, you can say them too, if you want. Mantras are a lovely thing to say. I think we have the potential for mantras in our society. You know, we're always repeating the things we said to others. we're always repeating our favorite tunes. It is built into the human system, this faculty for japa. It's called repetition on something meaningful. We can take advantage of that japa faculty and slot in a mantra, and we begin to crack open its meaning in our day-to-day lives. Sappies, thank you for your quartet of roses. And Moon Shadow, thank you for your 37 roses. Just so happens to be my favorite number, or my lucky number. I love all numbers equally, but 37 tends to follow me everywhere. Say no to kale, you ask. Do I say any affirmations? Absolutely. All throughout my day, whenever I catch myself thinking negatively, I try to replace it with an affirmation. If I catch myself thinking, I'm so dumb, I'll replace that thought with, I have the potential to exercise my intelligence more. Here I'm saying the same thing, just in two different ways. And in the latter way, it inspires me, motivates me, rather than demotivates me. You know, if you have a friend that's making dumb decisions, instead of saying, you're so dumb, you can say instead, you have the capacity to make smarter decisions. I would like for you to do that. That friend can be ourselves. Instead of saying, wow, I make so many dumb decisions, we can say to ourselves, wow, I can make better choices. I am still up. I think Sky has fallen asleep already, since he knows that on ASMR Sundays we don't do mantra sessions. Maybe, but we still read In Love at Ease. Yes. Good observation, Slytherin Queen. One is saying you are hopeless. The latter, there is room for growth. Mel, you would love to have a little understanding of one of my mantras. I would also love to have a little understanding of one of my mantras, but even a million out of infinity is still nothing compared to that infinity. But I'll tell you what I do know. Jai. This is a word that gives energy to. Jai, just even listen to that word alone. Jai. It means we're rooting for something. Jai. We have so much belief in something. There's so much potential in that. We believe firmly. Jai. Sita. 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 It means mother. Oh, divine feminine. Sita. Ram. 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 That means immortal consciousness, that which dwells within you as your undying soul. That is the Father, the Divine Masculine, Ram. Sita is your Jiva, your individuality, a part of this world of many forms. That's the dynamism of the Divine Feminine. Jai Sita Ram. Victory to Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. Jai Sita Ram. And thank you, Craig, for your heartbeat and for your owl. Hari Om Tat Sat. Svastidananda, you share that you're off to do puja and prepare for work. Nityanandam, that's a new word for me. I'm gonna try this again. Nityanandam. There. Nityanandam. Thank you. Namaskar. Thank you. Puja. Karma. Same. I hope that in your puja you find work to do. And in your work you find puja to do. And thank you, Del, for your heartbeat. Now, I think it is about time for us to begin to wrap things up for tonight. And goodbye, Hexagon. But before we go, there are two things I'd like to do with you all. The first is ask you a question. Today I am wondering, how are you coming to peace? And you are welcome to interpret the question in many ways. I recognize the vagueness of the question, and purposefully so. Whichever way it makes sense to you to answer, there's something you're doing, a process that is unfolding, or maybe it is your destiny and you are just witnessing it all. Make it, what am I trying to say? Witnessing it all on the pathway to that peace. How are you coming to that peace? Dylan, you share by trying every day. I like that. By letting go of outcomes, says C. Sally. By spending time with Yam, says Noisy Nerd. Well, if you find peace here, I'm very honored to be a part of that for you. Say no to kale. You come to peace by approaching to everything that happens as good. That's a powerful perspective you have. One that is very fruitful. And Brad, you say, whatever you can, moment by moment, step by step. Shelley, you share by crying. Yes. After a good cry, there is that stillness after, isn't there? Crying is a very direct route to peace. I believe that Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say, just cry. In 3 days, you will be free. And the freedom he's talking about here is ultimate spiritual liberation. If you can cry for 3 days, the universe will bow down to you. Say, okay, I get it. You've suffered enough. Here is your enlightenment. It is the easiest shortcut to peace. You'll try it, says Shelley. Good luck. Sadness you share. By taking control of your feelings, and therefore take control of your actions, reactions, state, reality. Yes, not 2, not 4, 3 days. I don't know why this number. Maybe it differs on the person. For some it could be only 5 minutes of genuine, authentic self-expression of the heart. Maybe for others it takes more than 3 days. I don't know. Say no to chaos. You share. By not doing too much, stillness is peaceful to you. Absolutely. Knowing our limits. Joanna, you share. By love and forgiveness to yourself. That is so important. By meditating, says Janchrani. There is such a wonderful art form of meditating. Sometimes we feel like it's the last thing we want to do. When something goes in a way we weren't expecting, we want to try to make all the pieces fit together, get it all lined up right. We don't want to give up, so it would seem, and enter into an inner solace. Especially when within just seems so chaotic. Yet, with a determined spirit coming into meditation, in spite of all that chaos and turmoil, inner or outer, can be so blissful. Anna, you ask, does eating macaroni with toast bring me peace? Hey, we don't talk about that here. Macaroni with toast? Who would do that? Definitely not me. Tatvamasi, you share. By reducing the time you are attached to something, not dwelling. Indeed. An Aquarius lady, you share. Through positive changes. One by one, they begin to add up like the ship of Theseus, replacing one board at a time. It returns still as the ship of Theseus, but now every component has been upgraded. So too in our lives, we can make one positive change at a time, and at the end of our voyage, though we still bear the same identity at heart, every part of our being has been revitalized through incremental growth. thank you all for entertaining me in this question of the day. There are indeed so many ways in which we come to peace, unique to every person, every moment. I appreciate this introspection together. Before we end today's live, we will read from another section of In Love at Ease, Everyday Spirituality with Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who was a previous guru and president of the BAPS Swami Narayan Sanstha. This book was given to me by Sky Guardian, who was a childhood devotee of BAPS and still regularly attends their mandirs. In fact, he mentioned to its author, Yogi Trivedi, who was a devotee of Pramukh Swami, that we were reading the book, and he seemed very touched by that, simply saying, Papa's book, in reference to Papa, Pramukh Swami Maharaj. We were reading about Yogi Trivedi's experiences with Pramukh Swami Maharaj and how he took his first steps in front of him. Incidentally, his parents were nearby where Pramukh was staying outside in New York, I believe. And he happened to be taking his first few steps. And Pramukh Swami Maharaj was witnessing and pointed them out. Let us see, where did we leave off? Here we are. Less than 24 hours after I had interrupted my guru's discourse before Sabha, I was slated to present a story in front of him during his evening meal. I remember the makeshift dining hall in an old white-colored house behind the mandir. It was brightly lit with uncovered tube lights whose radiance reflected off a neutral, flowery wallpaper. A few dozen sadhus, monks and bhaktas, devotees, had gathered around Swami Shri in a semicircle as he sat on the floor and began to partake of his meal. One of the clearest memories I have of that evening is of Swami Shri's calm but shifting eyes. He was constantly canvassing the room to make sure everyone was comfortable. I remember him asking those who were sitting across from him whether, they wanted another serving of warm bhakri, which is a thick, crispy kind of roti, or whether any of them wanted to sit on a chair for better back support. I watched my guru from across the room, small room, and awaited my turn rather impatiently. A few minutes into the meal, a sadhu turned to me and instructed me to stand up and share what I had prepared. I remember Swami Shri looking up at me, his head bent low while eating from his wooden bowl, his neck tilted up at me, and his eyes pointed even further up towards my face. There was a sparkle in his eyes that helped me gather my thoughts and the confidence to speak in Gujarati. It was going smoothly until a young sadhu rushed into the room with one of those early generation white cordless phones nearly the size of a 2-liter soda bottle. The room was abuzz with whispers and conversations. The phone eventually made it to the Guru, who was just finishing his meal. I later learned that the call was from India. Calls from India to America were not as common or affordable in the late 1980s. Swami Shri quickly turned his attention to the call. Others in the room turned to each other. I was left sharing the story with the young sadhu who was sitting next to me. After a few minutes, I was annoyed. I felt insulted and ignored. What could I do? I did the only thing I knew how to. I cried. The embarrassment from the tears was too much. I rushed out of the room into the carpeted room adjacent to the dining hall. I fell on the floor and wept like the child I was. The young sadhu followed me into the room and picked me up. He wiped my tears and brought me some water. Yogi, enough. It is time to go back and finish your story in front of Swami Shri. Gather yourself. I did my best and returned to the dining hall. Swami Shri had just wrapped up his call and turned to me in surprise. The young sadhu was about to explain to Swami Shri what had happened. The Guru already knew. He looked at me and said, "Yogi, what happened? Why are your eyes red? Did someone get mad at you?" I could not hold in my discontent and unleashed it onto my Guru. "Swami Shri, it was you. You stopped listening. And then so did everyone else. No one was listening." The dining hall was silent. I could feel the eyes of the bhaktas and sadhus on me. Some were chuckling, and others shushing me. Before anyone could say anything, I heard Swami Shri's voice break the silence. "I am sorry, Yogi. It is not my fault." "Sorry. It is my fault," he said. "I should have done a better job listening to you. It will not happen again. Why don't you start from the top? When Bhagwan Swami Narayan arrives in the village of Lodj and meets Muktanand Swami, you have my undivided attention." I started the story with renewed vigor. I had won. As I neared the end, Swami Shri smiled and called me near him. He gently patted my head and handed me a sweet from the plate in front of him. "Yogi, now you know how I feel. This is my predicament too. No one listens when I speak to them about bhakti, devotion, faith, and kindness. How about we promise each other we'll be better listeners?" He did not mention the day before, nor did I remember. It is only now, decades later, that I can make the connection and realize how he had helped me walk in that moment. As we read previously, he had mentioned that the day prior, while Swami Shri was giving a lecture, he had walked on to the same stage and started playing with his toys and singing. He wasn't listening. Now the reverse has happened. This is perhaps one of the most widely shared interactions in the community today between the Guru and a child. In fact, I am often introduced to others in the community as the young boy to whom the Guru apologized. It has become a joke. Yogi made the Guru apologize. But the Guru did so much more. An analysis of his everyday interactions show the depth of his spirituality, his exceptional interpersonal and parenting skills, and his unmatched humility. His first words did not attempt to justify or explain his actions. It was an unconditional, direct apology. This helped me feel the selfless love I needed to stand up again. His last words were not enabling of my wishes and whims, but rather were instructive so I could learn to behave differently. I actively try to be a better listener now, knowing that it is not one of my stronger suits. This pointed me in the right direction to walk. He heard me out and thereby empowered me as a speaker and a storyteller. This gave me the confidence to take baby steps again. Swamiji's interaction with 5-year-old Yogi set the tone for my future interactions with the world around me. It taught me how to view and treat people and accept them for who they are. It taught me to do so with ease and without an inflated sense of self-importance. This humility would instruct more effectively than any form of rebuke, sarcasm, or anger. It taught me to apologize genuinely after any tiff, whether it was my fault or not. After all, age is just a number, but the soul is eternal. It is a means to introspect on the interaction and to own my share of the hurt caused. By the end, it helped me understand the importance of making a compromise and meeting the other party halfway, to make a deal for both involved parties, to do better by the other in the future. People often retort that I apologize too much. How can I not? My spiritual master apologized to me for not listening when I was but a 5-year-old boy who had not listened to him on just the previous day, and he continued to do so over the next 3 decades, each apology teaching me a new lesson. And we'll pause our reading for today there, and we'll look into the 2 other interactions that Yogi Trivedi had with Pramukh Swami Maharaj. We will do so at another time. Got a hiccup. So thank you for listening, and we will be closing today's Sangha. Thank you, Peter Schaefer, for your rose. Hari Om Tat Sat. I'm glad you liked the story, Eric. Brad smiles. You tried to share love in the form of an ASCII heart, but you typed a 4 instead of a 3. Not just less than 3 love, less than 4 love. You know, that's 33% more love, isn't it? And thank you, Tatmamasi, for your quintet of roses. And thank you, Dionysus, for your 5 roses. Eric says, I love everyone in the chat. Every one of you. Know that you are loved. Good night, Romy. Now, I thank you all for being here and for giving me the opportunity to read to you, to listen to your problems, and share new things with me that help me become more humble, more understanding, more patient as we grow together on our spiritual journeys. Did Sky fall asleep watching? asks Liz. There's a good chance he did. There's also a good chance he has other important Sky Guardian business to attend to. You know, being a guardian of the sky is no small task. There's a lot of it. And MJ, thank you for your hand hearts. Hariom Tat Sat. And Isabella, thank you for your finger heart. Jai Sitaram. Very happy to be here with you, MJ. Now, if anyone wanted to listen to this live again, if there's any part of it that you feel like you could have got more out of, I will be uploading this to not my Yamsox Lives YouTube channel, which I upload most of my lives to, but instead my Yamsox ASMR YouTube channel. But it functions just the same. Just we had an extra layer of relaxation here, so it is best suited for that channel. But on the Yamsox Lives channel, we will upload the readings that we did today, as we have done for every past reading thus far. So if you want a free rough audiobook of anything that we listen to as we read, that's there for you, as well as the meditation sessions that happen at the end of almost every one of these lives. It also has a dedicated playlist. The ASMR YouTube channel, we've been reading through the Bhagavad Gita with rain sounds in the background, whispered. It's there for you if you want to listen to an ancient scripture in a relaxing tone of voice. Thank you, Nelly-ho, and Dionysus, and hello, Waste of Time, and thank you for your heart me and hand hearts. Radhe, Radhe, and Liz, thank you for your tiny. Yippee! That is funny, Cara Bear. And Joanna, thank you for your baker's dozen worth of roses. Jai Sitaram. May this be an offering to Shri Radha Krishna, my Ishta Devata, form of the divine that speaks to my heart as Mother, Father of the universe, whose love is what sustains, creates, and annihilates all things, animate and inanimate, whose love is found within all relationships. Krishna is that very consciousness which we are. Radha is that very universe which we experience. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What did I do? I just mixed two variations of the Maha Mantra together. Oh well. Remix. May you all have a beautiful rest of your present moment. Thank you. See you next time.